Who do you think would be coming in today?
I work with a Palladian collective, and I'm also bringing in a Council of Light.
Council of Light.
The Council of Light, yes. They are 12th dimensional beings. They have ascended through, a 12th dimensional reality. They are made up of a variety of different races. And their purpose is really to ensure balance and harmony in the universe.
Okay.
So they're very involved with what's going on here on our planet, as well as in other dimensional realities and other locations.
So just to explain, before we jump into channeling.
Yes.
Questions always keep arising. To explain this idea of collectiveness,
Yes.
Or a collective consciousness.
Yeah.
I think I have a pretty good grasp, but what's your definition of that, of how they come through?
Many beings functioning as one.
Okay.
The connection of many beings as one, is universal information.
So like humanity, would the entire human race in its own beingness be its own collective being?
I think that is the purpose. I think that is how we were designed. I do not believe that that's currently the situation of what we have here on our planet.
I see.
I think we have a splitting of timelines and a splitting of consciousness, and we're very singularly based, and
individually based.
We've been focused in. We've been changed genetically, really, in order to do that. So I think that was always the purpose.
I see.
For our race to connect as a one consciousness. I don't feel we're currently doing that, but I think we're on the path to heal that, and I think we're on the path to pull that back together. I can tell you a little bit about the Council of Light, and just because I had an experience with them, I actually dimensionally traveled to meet them. I've done some dimensional traveling to meet a variety of different beings and conferenced with them, but I had an experience with the Council of Light where my light body traveled to meet them. I was at a table of ascension. It was just a wooden table. There were a variety of different light beings around the table. And I asked them, I said, what's up with a wooden table? We're in 12th dimensional consciousness, and we have wooden tables here. And they said, well, you brought that into this reality with you. This is how you're interpreting the energy. So they actually allowed me to experience what it feels like to be one consciousness. And the table disappeared, and we all became one.
Oh, interesting. So the table was a figment of your imagination.
I created that.
Right.
Bringing in my third dimensional understanding or fourth dimensional understanding of how a council would look, or how they would fit together in one unit.
So you created the council-like situation,
scenario,
based on your idea of what a council is from this dimensional reality.
Right.
In that reality, it wasn't that at all.
No.
What happened when you merged?
It was just a feeling of high vibration, bliss. I mean, we were just one light together. And thoughts flowed, but they weren't necessarily mine. They were everybody's. I mean, it was just a very unique experience that I'll never forget. And I don't even know if I can describe. But I think that's what they are.
Right.
They connect together as a one, and they're making collective decisions based on that, frequency that they hold and the connection that they have to one another.
So maybe this might be a way to describe it, and maybe I can ask them later.
Right.
Is if humanity was operating in a one consciousness type, unified, I'm assuming we would all be telepathic.
Yes.
And then you're saying a collective of different beings. So then Earth and the Palladians and the Zeta Reticuli and the Draconian lizards, if all of them together came and formed an even bigger, one unified consciousness field of energy, lightness, would that be something similar to the council?
Wow. I believe that the council was formed for a very specific purpose.
Okay.
And that is because I've been channeling a book. It's not completely finished yet, but it's a work in progress. And I don't want to share a lot of it because I think there's more to come.
Right.
But I do believe that the reason that the council was formed is because there were some activities that were not to the liking of many races and beings, specifically within the reptilian race. And when the reptilian race, I believe that they came here. I believe that they came here in physical form. And I believe there was some skewing of timelines based on the ascension of the entire universe, because it's all connected. You know, our ascension here is connected to everything else. So because that was not in the best interest of all beings and all races, I believe each race came together and, you know, sent someone from their collective to form a part of this council in order to oversee balancing those energies and trying to reverse what's gone on.
Sort of like in Star Trek when the Borg appeared. So everybody in the Federation and even the Klingons and everybody else got together, the Romulans got together to fight this evil, you know, Borg entity.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
All right, interesting.
I wish I had thought of that.
No, I'm sorry. I like Star Trek. Cool. Well, let's, you know, I guess whoever wants to come in, but this light council sounds quite fascinating, since we're talking on that subject. If they want to come in first, last, or at some point in time, we'd love to have a conversation with them.
Okay, and you feel free to ask for whoever you want if they are not showing up.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Ever wonder if there's intelligent life elsewhere in the universe? Well, I have. I've been wondering since I was a kid. My name is Reuben Langdon, and on March 29th, 2007, in the middle of the day, I saw a number of strange objects in the sky. Coincidentally, I was working on the film Avatar at the time, playing an alien. And ever since then, I've been on a quest to find out if aliens really do exist, and if so, are they here with us? If beings of higher intelligence are here, what is their purpose? Why don't they make themselves more known? Why the secrecy? I've asked these questions to many experts, yet each seems to have a different theory. So I thought to myself, why not ask the aliens directly? So that's what I set out to do. Well, sort of.
Could you describe a little bit about the collective? What you said, it's a group of collectives, different extraterrestrial races exist of, and how that was formed.
We are pleased. As there have been many dimensional wars within the universal fabric, there have been timelines in which there have been concern that the harmony of the grid or the universal energies were not congruent to the ascension of all beings. As such, there was a collective decision based on many races to form a council in which each being or dimensional reality was represented on the council to oversee the harmony of these energies universally. There are a variety of beings and multiple races that are a part of the council. The communication is telepathic in nature. These beings that have stepped forward onto the council have or hold a 12th dimensional reality, meaning in the race that they have been assimilated, they have ascended through a 12th dimensional reality and are able to hold that reality on behalf of the race that they are representing. And Many believe that as a council, we are here to solve problems and we are here to get involved in disagreements between races and on your planetary space. And we would say that is not at all our intent. We are very much aware that many races, including your own, have their own timelines that they must engage in order to ascend through a process that has been planned through the evolution of their own soul as a one, we would say, their own soul as a one. We are here to ensure the integrity of the grid. So let us explain. As you are able to create timelines as a singular being, your consciousness is able to create timelines as a part of the connection to this universal grid. If the council sees that a timeline is created that would be harmful or in a lower vibrational alignment to the ascension or the benefit of all races, there is a balancing of energies or a plan that is made to balance and harmonize the energies associated with the essence of the consciousness that is creating the timeline. Mm-hmm. So we have spoken of upgrades mm-hmm. in your planetary being, where there have been alignments in solar energies. And we would say that the council, as well as their connection to many of these races, have been integral in planning and manipulating some of these upgrades in order to ensure the integrity of the ascension timeline, and in order to keep the human race, as one example, on track with that timeline in order to benefit all races. Mm-hmm. So that is our dominant role in the universal energy, is to come together as one for the higher good of all races as they are connected to the energetic grid.
So other 12th dimensional collectives are working together in this one collective that we're speaking to now. So would like the Palladian collective, the Zeta Reticuli collective, the Draconian collective, if there is one of 12th dimensions, are they all part of this collective council?
We would say, for example, mm-hmm. yes, the Palladian energy is represented on the council. Mm-hmm. It is not the entire collective of the Palladian energy. The Palladian energy as a one has sent a representative energy of their race to this council. So think of it as a new consciousness that has been formed through the connection of many beings that are holding a 12th dimensional reality. And through that connection, there is a collective decision to uphold the integrity of the grid.
Is this a big undertaking for the human timeline and where we're at in the gridding for humanity? I'm assuming it's going much larger than humanity. It sounds like it's a big project. But
yes, and the reason we would say that this collective has come to Earth in this time is because your mother being is at a very critical place in its ascension process. There is a variety of frequency upgrades that will be coming to your planetary energies in the coming years. In addition, these energies are going to raise the frequency or the base frequency of your planet. So many of you are familiar with the Schulman frequency, which is one with nature and creates the resonance by which human beings are connected. Mm-hmm. This frequency in itself is in jeopardy of being manipulated and shifted and changed. And as such, we are paying close attention to that shift possibility of timeline manipulation as it would affect the universal grid as well.
Is it still at 7.35 or 7.5-ish?
We would say it has been lowered.
Really? Wow. Does it fluctuate? Is it?
There are times in which the resonance fluctuates, and yes, the goal is to upgrade the frequency of, yes. Okay. The reason for this, you see, is there is an aspect of your planetary being that has been encapsulated in an unnatural frequency. This has been based on frequency modification that has been put forward in your physical environment. So the previous message has focused on the engagement of the reptilian DNA and how the hybrid reptilian beings on your planet are using physical means by which to manipulate your frequency. This frequency is causing an encapsulation of your Mother Earth in an unnatural or disharmonious state. As such, the Schulman frequency is interrupted at times based on the potential of this frequency and based on the dominant frequency that the human race or collective race is holding. And let us give you an example. Many of you refer to the date of 9/11 as one that was very catastrophic on your planet.
Yes.
And as such, this manipulation of your timeline resulted in a dominant low frequency with a connection to this action.
So 9/11 was a incident created to hijack the timeline?
9/11 created a consciousness on your planet as human beings were accepting its timeline. That consciousness held a lower dominant frequency, and that lower dominant frequency resonated into the auric field of your Mother Earth, manipulating or changing its innate balance.
I see.
And that is the type of activity we speak of that is possible in the acceptance of a timeline by your human consciousness in the coming 2 years. And that is why we would say that we are monitoring the connections to the grid very carefully in this time in order to ensure that it is counteracted by higher frequencies that are coming to your planet to balance. So when we say upgrade, and we speak of solar energies and planetary alignments and how those affect your operating system, they are not healing you in essence. They are neutralizing the energy.
I see.
They are assisting you to balance to a higher frequency and accept a new timeline other than the type that was created by this incident.
I see. So in essence, one group of entities is putting out a certain frequency, let's say a group of unseen entities, and then another group, yourselves, are putting out another set of frequencies, vibrations to neutralize that one, so humanity can kind of continue in its free will zone, this choice of, live without being pulled in one direction or the other.
Yes, and we would say the integrity of the grid is also very dependent on the frequency of your Mother Earth Gaia planet.
I see.
As it is intentional in the frequency connection of all beings, of all races. So it is important to us to oversee the harmony of that frequency.
And continue to allow humanity to continue to evolve at its own pace as opposed to being pulled one direction or the other.
Yes.
So to continue the balance of the universe.
Many are familiar with the dimensional realities as you are standing as a human consciousness within a fourth dimensional space. And as the Council of Light, we would say we are standing in an integral space between a 12th and a 13th dimensional reality, one in which is the basis of expansion of many of our dimensional realities and many races who have come to the table of this ascension plan. Those dimensional realities can expand beyond where they have been created by the energy of all of us as they are one in this entire timeline of ascension. Many of you confuse timelines. Let us give some definition around this term.
It keeps coming up and I'm like, well, maybe my definition of timelines isn't quite right.
Yes.
Thank you.
There are infinite numbers of timelines in this universal reality. Human beings have a very linear aspect of time which was given to them in order to manifest through their physical bodies and experience their creative energy in a density that is physical. But timelines, in essence, have many connective forces, and we are going to direct you back to the energy grid that we speak of. There is a universal energy grid that is connective of all races and all dimensional realities. And that is the basis for the timeline intersection. So in your physical reality, you are able to create timelines, yes? You can choose one relationship over another. You can choose to bring the higher frequency, and you can experience a timeline of joyous occasion versus a timeline of suffering. You create that based on the frequency that you choose to hold. That timeline, if you take it in your mind and expand it into a universal playing field, is now your consciousness, or the dominant human consciousness, as a connection to the universal timeline.
I see.
So, as a dominant human consciousness, there's also a free will choice that can be made through telepathic energy of the connection. And as that free will choice is made of the highest regard, the connection to the universal timeline is affected, and many of those who are also tapping into that timeline of ascension are given the expansion of that frequency in order to create more.
For every choice into that frequency, that emotional frequency of excitement or love or joy, then we're literally shifting into another timeline.
You have made a free will choice to create a new timeline, yes. And we want to clarify the statement that you made, because we would say there are many human beings who feel as if they should never access the lower vibrational emotions, that there is something wrong if they are having a day in which they are feeling anger or sadness. And as physical human beings in a fourth dimensional reality, we would say that would be quite difficult to achieve, as there is always the balance of the light and dark and the yin and yang within your physical structure. And those emotions were given to you for great purpose. So let us take you back to the mind. And we often like to equate the mind to the reptilian species, because the reptilian species has a beautiful mind by which there is an intricate connection of the heart chakra and the connection to source by which there is creation. The reason that you were given that reptilian mind is for your highest good, because it allows you to choose your preference based on an emotional frequency, and in order to direct your own vibration of attraction and manifestation based on that experience. So let us further explain, because many become confused about how this works as a singular being in connection with all of it. You are a soul, yes, and your soul has traveled many dimensional realities and many experiences, and you come here with a set of information and an operating system, and you are ready. You are grounded here, you are ready to receive. There are many ideas that you have of how you would like to manifest your energy in this creative way, and let us say that manifestation involves painting. And the color that you choose to paint with is red. You look upon that color red, and it is not giving you a feeling of satisfaction. As a matter of fact, you would say that red painting is making you feel angry or not worthy or not complete or not fully attached to this energy as the highest part of what you came to be. You now have a free will choice based on the recognition of that preference of that red color to choose the opportunity of another. And let us say you choose blue. In that blue painting, you see the sky, you see the universe, you see the potential, you see the feeling and all of the emotion that you had wished to portray on that canvas. And you are delighted, and you are feeling joy, and you are feeling at peace with this, and knowing that it is the most beautiful expression of energy. You now choose to use blue again. That is how your operating system was meant to work, with frequency. It's not as if you were never meant to experience sadness or pain or illness. You are meant to use those experiences to choose the frequency or the energy by which you wish to direct your experience in a new timeline, in a new aspect of your creation, we would say.
So, in other words, our lives are like paintings, and we're just trying out different colors and different expressions, and constantly shifting the painting into something that we like.
Yes, and we would say you were never meant to hold resistant energies to lower vibrational frequencies of emotion. And that is how the mind has been the impetus for taking your operating system offline.
I see. So we kind of got stuck in the idea that the painting is fixed and that the painting can't be shifted upon free will, upon any time we want. We can always pull out another paintbrush and start going, but we've forgotten that.
But we would take that a step further.
Okay.
We would say that you have been directed to pay very close attention to your physical nature. And that you have lost the perspective of the fact that you are made of energy. And that energy is the basis for your experience. That the physical nature is not the basis for your experience.
When you say energy, would that equate to emotion, energy and motion?
Yes, we would further explain this by saying that you as a physical being were given the emotional body as an intricate connection to the heart chakra in the same way that the reptilian species was given an expanded mind as a connection to the heart chakra. There is a dominant connection to source that can be held through the emotional body in order to manifest through the human consciousness. And in this way, you are able to reach for the emotion that pulls you into a higher frequency to navigate your physical experience. That is the understanding that has been stolen from you, we would say, or has been blocked from the human consciousness.
So emotions do create the physical experience.
Yes.
Okay.
As a dominant source of your frequency.
And then they create the physical reality, and that's reflected back to us, creating a different kind of emotion, or a more visceral, detailed, emotional experience.
Let us explain this. Every energetic creation or every manifestation of energy holds a unique imprint. That imprint, in essence, is a weight that the emotion carries. And that emotional weight can be measured, in essence, as a part of your physical experience. Many have done this in your planetary being. They have equated energy and emotion to the rate of speed or the rate of light. And this is a part of how you manifest your reality. So, let us use an example here. As you have been using your emotional body and paying close attention to the frequency that you hold, and you have now created this beautiful blue painting, you decide to take that blue painting out into the world, and you wish for others to see that blue painting, and that blue painting carries a signature imprint as an energetic creation. Everything that you are doing that is manifested in your physical reality is a mirror of that frequency or that dominant weight of the not only emotional body, but the frequency by which it was created or through which it was created. So that imprint that is carried into the physical reality is always working to manifest its match as well. So let us go further.
Okay.
You bring this blue painting into your physical reality to show it to others. Who will be attracted to that physical blue painting? Will it be random? That there are human beings that are drawn to see this painting? We would say there is nothing, my friend, in the universe that is ever random. There is an imprint of energetic nature that attracts the energetic imprint of its dominant vibration. So those who come to see this painting, and especially those who are most loving of this painting, we would say,
Right.
were attracted through a grid of energy. And that grid of energy holds a frequency of its own match.
With this, can I use this analogy? Because as you were describing it, I saw energy and geometry and shapes shooting out of this painting, kind of like a string attached to somebody else that had that same sort of geometrical pattern that they were vibrating at, and then it connected and pulled them into the same universal space. I guess that's the law of attraction. Is this sort of energy that went into creating this painting, is that similar to the grid work foundations that we talked about, or that you were talking about earlier, for laying the grid of the planet?
Yes.
Okay.
We would definitely say that is how timelines are created.
Okay.
But in saying this, when we talk about the universal grid, we ask that you understand that there is a consciousness that must be held here in a dominant force of vibration in order to affect the grid in a positive aspect. Positive, we say, we understand, would be in conflict to neutrality. But when we say positive, we're not talking of positively charged ions or positively charged energy. We're talking about the expansion of that energy through the timeline. So just as you have an energy grid associated with your experience here, the energy grid that is dominant to the vibrational aspect of your reality is a part of the human consciousness and its expression of that creative energy.
There's a lot of talk about gridding, and it's kind of like an unseen energetic field that surrounds everything in existence. And that sort of, like you said, the intention that goes into the creation of those objects, those material, physical things, hold that energy, hold that frequency. And on the micro scale as well as the macro, going up to the entire timeline, the entire reality, it still has that intention, that frequency, that vibration.
Yes, we would agree with that, although we would say that as you are talking conceptually of the universal grid, we would say there wouldn't be any physical manifestations as a part of that universal grid. The grid that we would say that many beings and dimensional realities are all benefiting from is one. However, we would say that the aspect of the grid that you are speaking of as physical in nature is one that is very distinctly connected to the human consciousness. Yes.
So other dimensional realities, I'm assuming as you get up into the 12th and 13th dimension, is there a physicality, or is it just all pure energetic, is it geometrical in form?
We would call it a light body.
Light body, okay.
Meaning a body of one. It is not physical in nature. It is, in essence, the ascension through which the energies have congruently raised to the point of the highest aspect of the grid, the highest point of the timeline that you wish to achieve in your human state. Okay. And as the human part of the grid is expanded, in addition to other dimensional realities and races, the aspect of the 12th to 13th dimensional reality also expands from that expansion.
Is it infinite in its expansion? Is there, we in this plane have talked about, I've heard other channeled materials and other people talk about 12 and 13 dimensions, and that's about it. After that, we're like, we don't go beyond the 12th, or even 13th. This is, I think, the first time I've ever heard the 13th being discussed. So I'm assuming it's infinite, but as we go up in consciousness in the 5th dimension and 6th dimensions, is more going to be revealed to us? I'm assuming.
We would be pleased to answer this. We would say that yes, in essence, the free will of the universal grid is infinite in its capability. And would there be an ascension point higher than 13? We would be pleased to understand that ourselves. But there is an aspect of the timeline or the grid that we want you to also understand is cyclical in nature, meaning that as a human consciousness, there is an aspect of your history or your reality in which you also held a 12th dimensional reality here. That 12th dimensional reality has been changed genetically, has been manipulated, has been, the timeline for that dimensional reality has been accessed as well as split into a variety of different timelines here on this planetary being. So when we say cyclical, what we want you to understand is as you are ascending to the highest level of dimension, you receive an aspect of your reality that remembers it must serve in such a way that it comes back into a lower vibrational state. Think of it this way. It is a free will choice as well, we would say, as there are many on your planet who have come back as ascended masters, yes, who are masters of energy, who are walking your earth as higher dimensional beings. They have made a free will choice as a soul, as an incarnate soul, to come into this reality in order to serve. And through that serving, they are ascending their own soul back into the evolutionary aspect of the time grid. So there is a cyclical nature, yes, that is also woven into this understanding of ascension.
I do this panel, I'm doing this panel next week where I'm talking about the holographic universe idea, this idea that we come from a hologram, two-dimensional hologram, and it's perceived as a three-dimensional reality. This two-dimensional hologram is, for I guess description's sake, is two-dimensional, like a flat piece of paper that has all the information that there is. And we, depending on our vibrational frequency, we perceive it, or what angle we're looking at it at, then the 3D hologram pops out, and different bits of information from the hologram are able to manifest their ways in this reality. Would it be safe to say, and I know there's a lot of comparing and references and diagrams, but would it be safe to say that the 12th dimensional consciousness is the entire hologram, the entire two-dimensional sheet of paper?
We would say that what you are talking about is the physical versus the non-physical aspect of your reality and how you are using that to create. Because through your connection of the non-physical, meaning your connection to the grid, your connection to universal energies, you have access to all of the information that you need in order to create through. So would the 12th to 13th dimensional consciousness be that information? We would say, yes, that is the information by which you are tapping into, because it is the full availability to that information. It is all that ever was, is, or has been.
Right.
So another way to say this would be that the human consciousness has the 12th dimensional genetic capacity to create from that awareness.
And there are other dimensions, other realities that maybe the human consciousness is not necessarily a part of, that are also other collectives out there. But because we are connected to this collective that we're speaking to now, then that's just one version. Like you said, you were a collective for one timeline, for a timeline that we're connected to and related to.
Yes, but we would expand on that understanding, and we would say that there are many human beings that are a part of this planetary space that are able to hold a variety of different dimensional realities based on where they are in their personal ascension and where they are with the genetic code being triggered by a variety of different alignments and how they've been accepting of those alignments. Let us give you an example. We would say that many on your planetary being hold a 7th dimensional capability, meaning they're able to tap into the 7th dimensional reality and access that understanding and that information. Does that mean that the human consciousness is able to hold a 7th dimensional reality here? We would say no, because as a dominant force of nature, your planetary being has a density that is not capable of holding that dominant frequency. So we would say there are human beings that are accessing a variety of different dimensional realities. There are some that are even disposed through their genetic code to connect with a certain race of dimensional beings and are doing that quite easily. There are some that have signed up through their soul's evolution to walk this planet with a dimensional reality that is higher in nature in order to forge a telepathic two-way communication between these collectives or groups of beings. So it is not based on the dominant reality that you hold in a singular nature, meaning, yes, we are wishing that the human consciousness is not singular in nature and is reforming as a one, but your singular nature currently as a human race holds a variety of dimensional access codes that are very specific to each human being.
And that's what we're doing here. We're tapping into this 13th dimensional collective.
That is correct, yes.
How does one go about healing their physical ailments or pains?
Yes, we are pleased to offer this advice as it is a part of your journey and your ascension to a 5th dimensional consciousness. And there are many who have assembled to assist in this energy and are very pleased that there are multidimensional races that are benefiting from your ascension here in this planetary being. Human beings who are centered within the frequency of the 4th dimensional reality in this moment are seeing within their reality many things that are not to their liking. And those things show up within their physical reality as an expression of their soul through a connection of a soulmate, let us say, or an expression of their creative energy through their gifts and their path that they are walking. Many are in a situation that is not to their liking within their family units or within their communities where there has been destructions, or we would say even wars. Many have physical bodies that are not what they had wished they would have received. All of these experiences that you have placed within a category of not to your liking or causing you suffering or pain are actually not only a part of your individual soul's expression and ascension in this time. It's a mirror to what the collective human consciousness is meant to heal. So when human beings are asking, what must I do to solve this situation we have of lower vibration on our planetary being? We would say outer actions to solve or resolve those energies are not within your best interests.
Outer actions. What can you mean by that?
Meaning, let us say there is a consciousness of war.
Oh, okay, that's sort of outer, yeah.
Yes, and a human being is attempting to dissolve that consciousness through physical action or interaction. We would say that is not always the best course of action to take in order to heal this planetary being. You must focus your attention first within your own physical reality. The reason to this, my friends, is it is all connected. This energy grid we speak of and this web of consciousness we speak of, it is all the same. So when you are looking at your physical reality and you are seeing things that are not to your liking, they are the things you must first bring the higher frequency to heal in order to see the changes manifested within your collective consciousness that you wish to see changed and reconnected in a sense of rebirth here on this planetary living, breathing Mother Gaia being that you have connected to in this time.
So in essence, to fix the world, we have to fix ourselves first.
Yes, that is a roundabout way of saying it. Yes. We are pleased to also remind you that your souls are all connected as one. So what your brother is experiencing within this physical reality, although it may seem very specific to what their expression of energy is, it is all the same. It is a mirror of what you are here to serve through your karmic energy in order to heal and reconnect as a one consciousness. We often speak of the heart chakra and the heart-centeredness that is a part of your being by which you will connect through. And we wish to always remind human beings that this is the first avenue for that consciousness reforming. But you must consider that that heart-centered consciousness must be a part of every interaction within your daily world in order to maintain the frequency as a singular being to reconnect to others. The heart chakra is always sending a signal. It is always receiving a signal. It is a very integral part of your operating system, in addition to what we have mentioned earlier as the mind. It is always reaching out to another and always assessing where the frequency must be neutralized. The neutral frequency is always the key. So let us give you an example. If you are connecting with a human being in this time, and that human being is a part of your soul's experience, and you feel as if that human being is at a lower vibrational frequency. Many human beings would say, I should turn my back on this human being because they are at a lower vibrational frequency than myself, so I should not associate with this human being, and is not capable to heal this relationship of lower nature. We would say to open your mind to a new aspect of that healing through the heart chakra. And how you begin to understand that the way that you connect in a physical way with this being is the way in which you adjust the frequency to a neutral state between the two of you. So, if you are of a higher consciousness than this other human, doesn't mean that you have to keep this human being within your energy field. If they are causing you harm, we would say no. But it is about resolving that energy in such a way that you bring the neutrality of higher consciousness to the entire energetic wrapped around the energy of the connection of the heart chakra. That's the basis, you see, for this reconnection we speak of to the one consciousness. It's about bringing the neutral energy to a higher space, to a higher dominant frequency. And in looking at yourself as the engager of that frequency in your own physical reality, that is the best place to start in order to heal the entire human consciousness.
Right.
Yes. Those human beings who would call themselves light bearers or light beings in this time, who have come to, in essence, be the conduits for the shift of consciousness that is the awakening of the human revolution we see as a part of the merging of this dominant genetic basis that has taken you offline with the human race as a one, is being blocked by yourselves, by the resistant energies that you hold to wanting these connections in such a way. Let us explain. Let us go back to the original example of the relationship that you have manifested, and this relationship is one of lower vibrational consciousness. As you are feeling the discord of that energy, and you are attaching to the discord of that energy and holding it within your emotional body, you are blocking the manifestation of the connection to those that hold a similar frequency to your own. In essence, the bigger picture is this, The reason many of these relationships and situations of lower vibrational nature are coming up within your physical world at this time is for you to neutralize the energy and clear them in order to integrate the new frequency, allowing you to reconnect to another in this way that you speak of. So the things that are showing up for you in your physical world that you are not clearing, that you are holding a resistant energy to, are going to stay magnetized to your energy body through the very resistant energy that is causing your frequency to match them. You see, it is all a dominant frequency match.
Right. So until we can, once we get to that neutral state, even in a relationship with someone of a lower vibration, in order for a new, until we clear that, until we neutralize that state and stay at that state, then a new relationship or a relationship with that person that can be met on the same level won't happen. So we have to get there, stay there.
We would agree with this, and we want to bring karma into the equation because human beings often like to speak of karma and how they manifest karmic situations. So there is a relationship, yes, and this relationship is causing you much suffering. There is a free will choice by human beings in this time, and that free will choice is often misunderstood, and we want to explain that to you. You do have a free will choice as a human being, as a human consciousness, to create your reality to your liking. As an individual soul, you do come with karma or lower vibrational weight that has been accumulated through other experiences. And yes, that must be served, not only for the evolution of who you have become, but for the evolution of every soul that has ever walked or will walk this planet and beyond. Those karmic situations that show up to you are, again, an aspect of your reality that are the basis for your very ascension. So as you are wishing for a better relationship and you are attaching to the dominant frequency of that lower vibration, you have the free will choice to accept a timeline here. You have the free will choice to accept the timeline by which you suffer and accept this energy as a part of your experience, or you have a free will choice to bring a new energy to the experience. The other soul that is engaged through this energy also has a free will choice by which they can choose the timeline. So are you able to resolve the energy of another in the experience that you have with them? We would say that would not at all be possible, because they are the only player in that creation of energy that has any free will choice in how it manifests for them. So you are able to accept a better timeline through the frequency that you bring to these experiences. And that is why, in essence, they have come with you as an expression of energy or as a soul in this incarnate body. It's for your own evolution and for the evolution of the entire human consciousness. But it is through your free will choice by which you accept that ascension timeline.
So in essence, we're all in our own unique little reality bubbles, but yet in a larger, greater bubble of experience.
We would say you are integral in all of it. Yes.
I see. So instead of putting the blame on someone and saying, well, that person is holding me back, don't focus on that and focus on your own reality bubble, and they will come with you.
They will either come with you or they will be cleared to allow another.
Right.
Yes. And it is all based on the frequency by which you choose to bring to that interaction.
Frequency at which you vibrate.
Yes, and where we are headed with this point is to show you how, as a part of all of it, that new frequency that you hold and the ascension by which you have accepted through your free will choice now becomes a part of the human collective. Imagine, my friend, if every human being was to come at their free will choice decisions by this type of energy, and understanding that they hold the dominant frequency by which to heal those wars, by which to heal the famine, by which to reverse the damages of the rivers and streams and oceans upon your planet by the very free will choice that they make that holds the dominant frequency by which we reconnect.
I have one other person I'd like to call upon, if that's possible.
Yes.
Mary Magdalene.
Greetings.
Greetings, hello. I had a question. I know that, I have a couple questions, more of a personal matter, but I was wondering if there's a connection between myself and Mary, and if you have been one of my guides and have been told this and felt the energy, and just wanted to get a sort of verbal confirmation here, if that's possible.
Yes, I am very pleased to explain this connection, as we are connected to many in this time. And when I say we, there is a consciousness of ascended masters and angelic presence that are connected to the physical nature of your planet, as many of us have walked this physical nature and are very connected to its energy. There is a reason by which you are connected to the Mary Magdalene energetic in this time, as there is a past life in which you were very associated with the divine feminine presence of this energy. The divine feminine presence is the aspect by which your human consciousness is being asked to engage in order to heal and reconnect through the heart chakra. This divine feminine presence is not only a part of your reality through this past life connection that we do wish to explain. So let us go into some detail.
Okay.
So as a channel, I'm going to step in and tell you what I'm seeing in the mind's eye.
Okay.
Because what I'm seeing is, I'm seeing a flock of sheep. I'm seeing a herder, what a herder with a staff and the cloak and the sheep, and out in the field. And I see a very bright sun. I see fields of grass. I see a gate. And I see you as the shepherd. I see you as the shepherd of the sheep. And you're on a mountain. Is a mountaintop. It's a very beautiful scene. And as you come over the top of that mountain, I can look down on a home or a house, and there's some smoke coming from the chimney. So there's someone there. There's a fire in the home burning. There's a pot. There's an cast iron pot. There's a woman there. As you walk into the home, there's also a child. There's a baby in this home, and I get the word peddler child. I don't know why. This child, as a connection of your soul, was a part of the divine feminine energy, in such that there was, I feel like I'm getting the Christ consciousness in this time for you. I feel like I'm getting the child as growing up in this time frame or this timeline, not exactly, of course, being the Christ consciousness, but as a mirror to that energy and that timeline, and going out into the world. And there was work that was done as a teacher of this child, and you are in much support of that. Like, I see the hand on the shoulder, and here's this young child with something to speak, with something to say. And that teaching comes from the aspect of, it's an ancient practice by which we connect to the gods. It's an ancient practice by which we connect to ourselves. It's the ancient practice by which we engage that divine feminine. And it's a teaching in itself. And I think it's something that you are, this child that you bared in this life that had this, it's like came with this really evolved soul to teach this word, whatever it was. It's something that it's handed to you. So the guides show me it's handed to you, this teaching of this divine feminine, of this divine presence, and what that connection was to ancient worlds and gods. And in this time, gods were accessed for information. How do we sow the crops? How do we best heal ourselves, or what do we need to do with which direction do we go? Where do we build? Where do we go? How do we bring in this new world? And it was a really developmental time in not only this child's life, but the life of it's like creation. I see this being a very pivotal time in the Christ consciousness, energy, and it's a mirror, because the guides give me that mirror, when you hold it up to self, and they almost hand it to you with this teaching. So what Mary Magdalene is stepping in to say is the reason you're connected to her is through that divine feminine teaching, or through that divine feminine presence that you embody through that life and through that child, because you learned it from that child who really came with it. Children are born onto the planet, she wants you to know, because this is also, it all ties in. She says you have a very strong connection to children, and the reason and the meaning for their being, especially in this time, that the human consciousness is in. And it all ties together, because they're really here to balance that energy, where she says, you have an awareness. If you don't already, I feel like you're going there with your research. It's like, here's your path. You've been walking this path, and it's kind of going to veer off to the right, she shows me. And that's where you step into this feminine presence of the divine energy, and where you begin to, it's like you're going to bring in a practice or understanding and teach it to others as a part of what you've been doing. But it really involves children, and bridging what the children bring here with the divine energy of the feminine essence with what they have to deal with in a very masculine-based society, and knowing how to balance all of that. And I feel like that's why you have this connection to her, and what she's trying to show us is that's where you're going next. And that's why she comes in really strong as a presence around you, because she embodies that essence in that teaching.
I see. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. That's all I have for now. And any words of wisdom before you leave?
Yes, we would say we have been pleased to engage this communication. We ask for all human beings to, of course, embody the nature of their soul as a connection to the consciousness of Mary, meaning the divine feminine presence. As you are bringing that into the world, we are very pleased to support you in that energy, and we have been very pleased and blessed to have facilitated this connection.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
How was that?
That's good.
Do you get a charge when you're in that?
Yeah. I mean, I just feel the love. I mean, I buzz all over with.
You look more vibrant now than
I know,
going in
I always
earlier.
do. I always should channel every day
Yeah.
before I leave the house. Yeah.
Like take a shower and channel.
Yeah, exactly.